Hello everyone and welcome to Talk of the Game. It's match day 38 of the Premier League as Brighton and Hove Albion take on West Ham United. The Seagulls trying to get a top half finish in the Premier League on the last match day. Might even go as high as 8 if results go their way. West Ham United, well, we know what we've got to do. We've got to win and hope Crystal Palace do a favour first to get Europa League. We'll either finish 6th or 7th. We're here to discuss what we think we'll be doing in this game and where we will finish this season. Gonzo, kick us off as always. Your thoughts on Brighton, please?
Yeah, one of my favourites, Geo. I really like the club. I think where they've come from is brilliant in a rented half an athletic stadium, with no roof on it. Perfect. I think it's perfect. The surrounding concourse, what they put on before the games, brilliant. You go in there, there's the beer is supplied by a local ale company. The pies you have at half time of them, something like, I don't know, West Sussex Pie Company or something, whatever. I mean, they've just done it right, mate. I really like the club. There's a lot to admire there. And you know what? They've got an infrastructure there which is allowing them, for a club that really shouldn't be a Premier League club. They're not a big club traditionally, yet there they are, doing well and surviving in the Premier League. Good job all round, really.
Well, while Gonzo talks about off the pitch, on the pitch, I've been quite impressed by them this season, actually. I mean, I think their recent run of form has helped them a little bit. I've sort of always been a bit suspicious of, I'll be honest with you, I've been suspicious of the Graham Potter thing. I know you really like Graham Potter. You've liked him as soon as he came to England, to Swansea, before he went to Brighton. You were sort of a fan of him. But I've always been a bit suspicious in the sense that I think he plays good football. I think they do that. But I've always felt the results didn't necessarily match up with the way that they played. And I know last season they were sort of top of the XG kind of thing. And if Brighton scored all the goals they were expected to, they'd be like in the Champions League places and stuff. But I thought, but they haven't scored all them goals. It doesn't really matter, does it? That's like saying, well, if Nick Pope saved 5 more goals this season, Burnley would probably be 14th in the league. But he didn't, so they're not. But this season, I think there's a little bit of substance to it now. I think he's started to apply the results a little bit. And like I said, I think they've only lost 1 their last 9 or something. They're in good nick at the minute, which has boosted them up the table. But if you said to me at the start of the season, Brighton would finish in the top half of the Premier League, is that a successful campaign? I would say, yes, it is. It is a successful campaign for them, especially then when you do marry up the sort of pretty on the eye football, because I do think they do play nice football. But I just think you've got to be a little bit careful if you want. Surely you've got to desire a little bit more as a football fan, and that is more results and then perhaps a cup campaign. I guess 2 questions for you, Gonzo. A, do you think they've had a good season? And B, what should Brighton's aims be next season?
Yeah, I do think they've had a good season. It's patchy. They're always patchy, as I say about Brighton. They're always Barcelona or crap. And when they're in full Barcelona mode, they're really an entertaining team to watch. It's quite funny actually, Gia, because it's going to be a strange sentence. Man City was good preparation for Brighton. It shouldn't be that way, really, should it? I think it's a good season for them. I really do. Top 10 next season. Let's see if they can go a little bit higher. Get a striker in. I think they buy and sell really well. I think they were able to with the Ben White thing. They handled it a whole lot actually. When Leeds had him on loan, and Leeds tried to come in and take him for 25 million, and Brighton said no, it's just not happening. They kept hold of him for a bit, and then Arsenal came in, and they were very determined with what they were going to demand from Arsenal, and that only comes from financial strength to be able to do that. And I think, bearing in mind that's how they negotiate, that's how they do their business, I think they've probably saved enough money, they've earned enough money, they've got a nice little squad there, mate. If I were them, whatever their budget is, let's say they've got 50 million to spend in the summer or something, and they should have really, go and buy a striker for 50 million. And let's see. We'll see if those stats, those expected goals and all that stuff, let's see if that can translate into real goals. And let's see if that is the case. And I think if that is, I'm not saying they can qualify for Champions League, but they cut out some of that streaky form, turn a few of the draws into wins, maybe they can contest a European place.
Yeah, I wouldn't necessarily disagree. I think the problem for Brighton is, I think it feels like they've been sort of layering up a little bit. And like you said, it feels like they're one good strike away from becoming a really strong Premier League side. I think they've almost done it like one season too late a little bit. I think this perhaps was the season to have that striker and really push for the top. I mean, if they beat us and results go their way on Sunday, they finish 8th. The problem is they've just rocked up a bit late to the party, if you like. And next season, Premier League, it feels like it's going to be a lot stronger now with the inclusion of Newcastle added to the mix. And then you imagine West Ham would still be around there. That Man U are getting stronger, Tottenham are getting stronger, Arsenal are getting stronger. So maybe a little bit tougher for the next season. But I think if they can go on trying to aim for a cup or something, I think they've definitely got it in them. And like you said, it does feel like they are a striker and one or two other players away from having a really solid Premier League squad. But the good thing is they're seen as a Premier League club nowadays, which I think in a weird way it's a compliment. It takes you a long time. You know, when I spoke to that guy from The Athletic about the takeover rumours at West Ham, and he alluded that he still didn't really see West Ham as a Premier League club, despite the fact we've been in it for over 10 years now. He was still a little bit unsure, that felt like we were a couple of seasons potentially away from a relegation battle again. So that goes to show what the neutrals think looking in and how long you need to be in the Premier League. But yeah, a really good team, really good season for them. Not a lot to like about Brighton, I guess. But we'll find out which players we like in just a minute, because this video is sponsored by the One Football app. It's the best place to get your football news. Doesn't matter if you support Brighton or West Ham. It does not matter. You might not even support anyone in the Premier League. Doesn't matter. Your club will be on there. The competition that you like will be on there as well. Get it downloaded to your phone or your device, whether it's an iPad or a Kindle. The link is in the description below, as well as the pinned comments. And guess what? Completely free. Transfer window just round the corner. The rumours have been getting cranked up a lot in the last week or so. It will be the same at Brighton, just as it is at West Ham United. The One Football app takes everything that you need, puts it into one streamline for your club only. You don't have to skim through all the Man United news to find the Brighton or West Ham news. It's just there. Brighton, Brighton, Brighton. Or if you're a West Ham fan, West Ham, West Ham. Everything. Fantastic app for a football fan. Get it downloaded to your device today. Gonzo, last question as always. Pleasure, Meyer, please.
Yeah, Cucurella, as you know, I really like him, and he's I feel reaching his potential. A little one, a bit left of field. Not saying he always plays left of field, but every time I see him play, I like Trossard. I think he's a really good technical player, Gio. I think he's really good. The rumours that he's going, and I think he like epitomises Brighton, where they've come from, and the way Potter wants them to play, which is a technical player from lower down, you know, from a lower level, who's done well and has the technique to survive well at that level. I'll leave you with your favourite. I also think, looking at it, we don't ever speak about him particularly, but Dunk, the centre back, I think he's a really effective Premier League player. And I'll tell you what, whenever we faced Brighton and West Ham have tried to take it away from it being the game of football that Brighton want to play, right? So West Ham think, okay, we're going to take it away from you. We're going to rough it up now. We're going to West Hamify this game and stop you with your tippy tappy Barcelona nonsense. We're going to bully you now. I think he's always there, he's steadfast and resolute, saying, "Oh, okay, that's fine. If you want to do that, I'm up for a bit of this. I'll have a bit of the bully boy stuff. Bring it on, West Ham." So I think he's a good player as well.
Just to throw a question in there, because, well, you said Trossard's been linked with a move away. Basuma feels like he's been linked with a move away for the last 2 or 3 transfer windows. Cucurella yesterday, I seen, was being linked to Manchester City. Not only can you see that happening, not only do you see Cucurella to Man City, you think, actually, yeah, I can see that. It's just the trouble that Brighton find themselves in, essentially trying to keep hold of all their big stars, if you like. They're taking them to the Premier League. They're giving them a platform. They're playing well. Then the clubs above them in the Premier League are saying, "We'll have him, please. Thank you very much."
Well, I think they all face that, but the particularly a club of the size of Brighton and Brentford, include Brentford in that, they can have all the ambition they want, but at the end of the day, the thing that speaks loudest is wages. And that's the one thing they're not going to be able to compete on, because their turnover is just not going to be as high as the bigger clubs. They don't. For them to get, West Ham have had this. West Ham didn't have 60,000 fans, right, in a stadium. For us to do that, we've had to make the tickets cheap. Brighton didn't have 30,000 fans. The tickets are really reasonable down there, the cheapest tickets. And because of that, the revenue is never going to be as high, and they're not going to get as big as sponsorship deals because they're Brighton. There's a cost to having the local pie company in and the rest of it, and it's the right thing to do, and it's a lovely thing to do. But it's you're not getting the big sponsorships from the big beer brands as well, and all that other stuff. You look at any big club, Geo, and you will see at the bottom of their website lists and lists of sponsors. And the bigger the club, the more you'll recognise the sponsors. The lower the club, the more you won't recognise the sponsors. And it just comes down to wages. And Brighton could do everything they wanted to. Let's use Cucurella as an example. Brighton could turn around and say, actually, City, we reject your 40 million for Cucurella or whatever it might be. But one thing they can't do is when Man City say, well, we'll pay you 150 grand a week. Brighton can't get close to it, and that is a problem. Whether it's Cucurella, whether it's Basuma, whether it's Ivan Toney at Brentford, the wages ultimately will speak. So you're always likely to get players picked off, and we're no different. We're just at maybe slightly different valuations with Rice and that at the moment.
Yeah, I guess the one advantage Brighton probably have is they've probably already got a replacement somewhere lined up for Cucurella, Basuma, and Trossard. Should they move on, they know who they're going to go get for a lot cheaper than they're selling for. When the sun shines, make hay and all that, I guess. The player Gonzo's leaving me was Basuma. I do think he's got everything as a centre midfielder. If Declan Rice leaves, he'd still be my number one target. He'd be the one I'd be going in for, throwing money at Brighton to try and get him to come to West Ham. Originally a defensive midfielder, if you like, and one of the best defensive midfielders in the Premier League. And funny enough, a bit like Declan Rice, his game's developed a lot at Brighton. He's become an all-round centre midfielder, can do anything, can get forward, can defend. A couple of months ago, Declan Rice was on BT Sports and got asked about sort of his top 5 Premier League midfielders to play against, and he named Basuma as one of them. Bear in mind, he's picking players from Manchester City, Liverpool, Arsenal, all that in there, and he's picked a Brighton one as one of his 5. So that's one of the best players I've come up against in the Premier League. Bigger compliment coming from Declan Rice than a random Scotsman on a webcam, that's for sure. Lamptey's been a bit of a disappointment, Gonzo. I know he's had a massive injury, right? I know he has. I know before people jump to his defence, I'm not suggesting that, but he's been back for quite a while now, and he did get back in the team. He's been taken out of it, and in the last month or so, Brighton have got like a settled 11 almost, which includes a right wing back when they're using Solly March there rather than Tariq Lamptey. I've been a little bit disappointed by him. I'm aware the injury, but even taking that big injury into context, I was still expecting a little bit more. Before that, and it was a horrendous injury. He looked dynamite, didn't he? He looked like the best right back in the league at one point. Everybody's saying, "Wow, good luck keeping a hold of him." He's going right to the top. Next season, I'm looking forward to hopefully seeing 100% of Tariq Lamptey back, but. Not this one, but the one other player I want to quickly mention before we move on is I think Veltman has been one of the most underrated signings in the last few seasons in the Premier League. I really do. It came with quite a decent reputation when it happened. Everybody was a bit surprised how little they had to pay for him and stuff, but he's perfect. He's hard working, he's tough in the tackle, he's disciplined, can play centre back, can play right back. You play anyway. I think if Graham Potter put him up front, he'd give it a go as well. I think he's been a real underrated signing in the Premier League over the last few seasons. But anyway, enough about Brighton. Let's move on to West Ham United. Gonzo, funnily enough, when we won our last game, we want to see more changes ahead of the next game than I think we're going to see from the last game, which we drew and threw away a 2-goal lead. To this one, I think we're going to see even less changes. But let's see what starting 11 you would like to take on Brighton on Sunday. We always change. But keeper?
Oh, I mean, this is really tough. Because obviously we have a penalty save to be grateful for. We have a mistake at the start of the game as well. I'd probably keep Fabianski in for this one, and I think it's the right thing to do. That being said, if we have serious intentions of trying to keep Areola as a sweetener, it might have been the thing to do to play Areola. Just say that, from Moyes, say you're my number one next season. That being said, he may well have the conversation with him. I would play Fabianski for this one, mate.
I'm flip-flopping again. I want Areola for Man City, but I want Fabianski for Brighton. I don't think putting Areola in on match day 38 is going to convince him. If he's going to sign, he's going to sign regardless of whether he starts. Just likewise, if he's not signing, he's not going to start. He's not going to sign, change his mind, say, I'll sign now because I started against Brighton on the last game of the season. I thought Fabianski was fantastic against Manchester City. Back four against City, we had Sufal, Dawson, Zuma, and Creswell. Would you like to see any changes there?
No, sorry, it doesn't make for a great preview, Geo, to discuss them individually, but I think that has to remain the same. I think there were some really good performances in amongst there. I think it's settled. I think Sufal is getting better. I think we need to keep him in there, not just because he's improving following his injury, but the attacking thing he gets. He's got a good partnership with Bowen. Really good. Partnership's so important all over the football pitch. Obviously, the centre-back partnership speaks for itself, and you've got a situation there with Cresswell or Johnson at left. The thing is, we might well need a set piece at some point. particularly against Brighton. As I say, Dunk tends to stand up to this stuff, but since the last time we played, he lost Burn, and he's obviously a big guy as well at set pieces. So it may well come down to a Dawson header or something like that. And it's good to have Cresswell in the starting lineup because he does offer you that Johnson doesn't. So I'll keep the back four the same.
Yeah, I would. And we need to win on Sunday at the end of the day. There's no point in us drawing, really. If we're drawing with 10 minutes to go, I want us playing with 4 strikers or something, because what's the point? Might as well. Us drawing and losing has the same impact on the league. We remain set. We have to win. It's win or nothing for West Ham on Sundays. I want to have, to some extent, I know you've got to be a little bit disciplined, but an attacking option from as many positions in the team as possible. And I think Creswell offers that over Ben Johnson. But certainly, if we are winning, Ben Johnson's not a bad option to have on the bench. You want to take him on and tighten it up a little bit. Now, moving into midfield, we're also going to have Declan Rice in there. But how else would you like to line up in the middle?
I've got to say, I would keep it exactly the same. Gio, I would keep it exactly the same. Souček had his best game in a long, long time. Won headers in both boxes, which is what you want to do. So I want to see more of the same. Again, it may well come down to that physical aspect. Let's get Souček into the box and nodding the ball down like he did so effectively against Man City. And also, I think Lanzini's due a game. It doesn't tend to go lots of games being poor. And he wasn't really able to impact much against Man City. Whilst I said Brighton were good practice for Man City, and as much as I meant their ball retention, possession, they are not Man City, So you would imagine that that particularly if he's playing as a number 10, Lanzini being able to get amongst them, getting past that midfield barrier that they have, and getting amongst their centre halves, he should certainly find that a little bit easier than getting past Rodri and then trying to get at Laporte and things like that. So I would play Lanzini in there, mate.
And what about the rest of your players there? You've got a further 3 to pick. Who are you going for?
Well, we don't know about Ben Rama, and I would have started.
Let's just say he's fit.
No, I'd bring him off as a sub because I think Fornells is there to protect. I just think that's all that Fornells does, really. I think he's there to protect Cresswell, but I would do it quite early. I'd try and see the initial rush of the game out, and then maybe at half time make that substitution or something and unleash Ben Rama to really go at them, because I think we may well need him in this game. But I think as a sub, to give them something else to think about might be the thing to do. I take it you're going to start Ben Rama.
I am, yeah. Bowen and Antonio, you're 2 as well, but it would be Ben Rama for me, because I think he was excellent against Norwich City, and he was just a bit unfortunate. He got injured, then missed the Manchester City game. But while he missed the Manchester City game, it was a bit of a let-off for Fornells and Lanzini, because one of them were going to miss out against City if Ben Rama was fit, or they should have missed out. So because of Ben Rama's injury, they both got to start that game, and actually neither of them really impressed me that much, to be honest with you. 9 players impressed me against Man City. Them 2 were the 2 that didn't really. While I appreciate, the work ethic that Fornells brings, and I can't criticise that. I thought he was excellent in off the ball against Manchester City, but in possession, he was a little bit wasteful. It wasn't the first time we've seen it this season. It wasn't even the first time in April and May that we've seen it either. Against Brighton, we need to score, and we're probably going to need to score at least 2. And I guess the question is, what gives you more faith in scoring goals? We're probably having Ben Rama in the team. I think he has that little X factor at times, and at times he can go missing and not really show up, and it's a bit of a waste of a player having him on the pitch. So I can understand why some people would start and why some people wouldn't. Again, I think if we did a poll, I think it'd be 50-50 as to who would start Ben Rama and who wouldn't. But I would, because I want us to take the game to Brighton from the first whistle here. I'd rather go into the last 20 minutes protecting a lead rather than trying to find one. And I think Ben Rama on the pitch gives us that. I would start Lanzini over Fornells, though. For my centre midfield, it's the same as yours. Souček, Lanzini, and Rice in there. I wouldn't be too against playing Lanzini next to Rice, like we saw against Norwich City, with Souček further up. I think while Brighton are good on the ball, and they can be quite physical in midfield. We've seen it with, Basuma's in there, and Wepu might be back. He might be in there as well. But I do think he will get a little bit more time on the ball, Lanzini, this weekend. And we need somebody to pull the strings from deep, and I think he's the man to do that. So I'd probably like Lanzini next to Rice with Souček a little bit further up for the reasons that you've given, which is it gives us that additional dimension when attacking. Anyway, that's the teams that we want to see. Get your teams in the comments below. But Gonzo, worst case scenario, Sunday, we finish 7th. Best case scenario, finish 6th and get Europa League. It feels a little bit win-win.
It does feel win-win. It's going to be really interesting, particularly with the other game going on. Obviously, the other game being Crystal Palace versus Manchester United. I feel a little bit blessed, to be fair. I feel a little bit privileged to have a couple of seasons where you go to the end of the season with retaining interest in the league standings for the right reasons, rather than because you're fighting a relegation battle. I think it's really good. I'm absolutely delighted by it. We really have had value for money, haven't we? In terms of I guess not just the Premier League campaign. The whole campaign has been of good value to us, really. So yes, it's going to be exciting. It's different. It's really different as a West Ham fan to go in to final games of the season like this. This is not something we traditionally have done. So yeah, I mean, brilliant. It is. As a West Ham fan, as you say, your man at the Athletic there still doesn't quite view West Ham as a bona fide established Premier League team. Yeah, I can get that as a West Ham fan. I've been yo-yoing. It's interesting to go into the last game of the season, to deciding what European place we might qualify for. So yeah, good thing, isn't it, really?
I think it's wonderful. What a fantastic achievement it is to have European football secured with one game to go in the Premier League. And obviously we hope to finish 6th and get Europa League. But there's no heartbreak on the line here. It's not like you're going to miss out on European football altogether. Monday's going to be crap. The rest of the week after is going to be rubbish because we've not got European football. We've got a form of it. And there might be a small disappointment of the Europa League and it's the Conference League instead. But I'll get over that pretty quickly. I think come Monday morning when I wake up, I think I will have forgotten about the disappointment from the day before. And I think it's a marvellous achievement, actually, for us to be in this position going into the last day of the season. The only thing I will say is I will be disappointed if Man United don't win and we don't get 6. If Palace do us a favour and we do not do our bit on Sunday, that's when I'll feel a little bit more disappointed, because we speak about missed opportunities here, there and everywhere during the course of the season. Well, if Palace do something at Selhurst Park and we don't win, that is a massive missed opportunity for us to upgrade the European competition. We've got to do our side of the bargain here, which is win, and then hope Crystal Palace do something for us. And well, we'll get on to that in just a second. But before we do the predictions, Gonzo, and there's 2 predictions to do today. Are you confident for this one?
No. I'm never confident when we play Brighton.
You can't be, can you?
No. And the stats bear that out. It's not me being superstitious. They're a tough team for us to play against. They're the new Everton for West Ham. Really, it was. I always remember being younger, Everton and Charlton. Funny enough, I might have the Charlton thing wrong. I just seem to remember going to games and playing Charlton and winning. But Everton certainly were a big bogey team for us. So we can beat Everton now, it seems, but not Brighton. So it's hard to be confident, mate.
I annoyingly, their recent form's the only thing that's bugging me. They look like they were on the beach not that long ago, Brighton. They look like the first team to have their slippers on, the pipe lit up, and successful season, Premier League football secured, happy days. But they seem to have turned it around recently. Their home form's not particularly great. 4 wins all season at home. The 4th one was literally their last home game against Man United as well. So that's something they really need to rectify for next year, because I heard Graham Potter speaking about how he'd rather they win at home than away for the fans, and I can understand that, but the fact remains is they haven't really. The fans have been going there all season. They've gone to 18 games and witnessed 4 wins. It's nothing spectacular. It's not a great return, is it? So I'm feeling quite optimistic, actually, and I don't know why, but I can get rid of the whole we haven't beat Burnley thing in the Premier League, because all season I've been saying this whole West Ham-itis thing it's gone. It's changed. I feel differently about West Ham now. Like Sunday against Man City, while I was feeling optimistic, because at worst case now we'll lose by 1 goal, 2 at the very most. Gone are the days of 3, 4, 5 hidings against Man City and Man United and that. Well, surely you've got to then apply that and say, well, gone are the days where we just lose against Brighton because it's Brighton. But I'm optimistic. Confident, maybe not, but optimistic for this one. Right, prediction time, Gonzo. But can I get your prediction for Crystal Palace versus Manchester United, please?
Well, that's a really interesting one, Geo, because they're going to be in party mode there. They really are. I think they've exceeded. I'm talking about Crystal Palace here. They've exceeded their expectations.
But see, when they're partying, all the players leaving. Pogba, get out of here! Bye, Ralph. You so pick her up. At last, we've had to watch you lot. Got 3 months with no Man U. Get in.
Yeah. No Cantonas. They'll be singing all the Man U songs. So I think there'll be a massive party atmosphere there. They've got what they want. They had half what they want, Crystal Palace, which was Premier League football. Hodgson secured that. Then they got a taste of it. And people say that be careful what you wish for, because it happens to a lot of clubs. You know, I've used Charlton as an example again with Kirbishley. But they've got double what they want. They've got both the things they want, which is established Premier League team.
I think Brighton's a good example of that. When Chris Hughton got sacked, everybody said, be careful what you wish for.
It's exactly the same, actually. It's exactly the same. So now they've got the established Premier League team and the good football and young players. Lots to be happy about is my point with Palace. Because of that, I talk about us going into the last game of the season just happy. They're just going to rock up there. They're going to sing lots of songs. The old eagle will... Oh, no, it died. There's no eagle anymore, is it? The falconry. Anyway, whatever, it doesn't matter. Well, it does matter. If you're the eagle, it matters, doesn't it? But anyway, they're going to have a party is my point. I think Man United are going to be going there on a downer with probably no eagle either. Like some roasted sparrow or something they're more like, aren't they, at the moment? So I think Crystal Palace can do it. I think it'll be a draw. I think it'll be a draw, but I think Palace will be all over them. I think Man U might fluke a draw with Ronaldo saying a goodbye with a header. Or I've been quite precise, haven't I? I think that's a draw.
Yeah, well, Man United have definitely been playing like blue tits or something all season. But I think I think Palace will do. I think Palace will do. I actually think they'll win. But they do play tonight. Crystal Palace, we've recorded this Thursday during the day. Crystal Palace do play tonight, so that might impact them on Sunday. But Man U have had 2 weeks since their last game. And like you said, while people say it gives them an advantage of a rest, there's talks of a spinning ground bust up the other day where 2 players had to be pulled off one another from fighting and training got cancelled. That's the place, man. Yeah, that's the rumours a couple of days ago. It's the 2 senior players went for each other in training and they had to get dragged apart. So Ralph cancelled training for the rest of the day and went home early. I mean, so it's just a game. Half the Man U players won't be harsh about this game at all. Like, what's the point? Half of them are leaving in the summer. Half of them know they're leaving. Cavani, Mata, Matic, Lingard, they'll know they're gone in the summer. Pogba, I don't know. So I think Palace will probably win, but get something, which means if we win, we will get 6. So, any final words, Gonzo? Plus, your own important score prediction, please.
Well, I think to stay on our bird analogy, I think Crystal Palace have got an eagle. Oh, they did. Previously had an eagle. Man United are the roasted sparrow or the couple of tits. And we've got to rise like a phoenix, I think, really, on this one, Geo. And but there's no evidence to suggest we'll do anything here. But there's something about Mikel Antonio, about the way he played. He looked fit, he looked sharp, he looked strong. And for all Brighton's brilliant play, and they are good, right? Bowen, Rice, Antonio, in particular, those 3, I think, on their top form, we should have. I think we can beat the jinx, mate. I think we can beat the jinx. I think we can beat them well. And I think and I hope we can beat them 3-1.
Yeah, I'm feeling quite optimistic. I think Brighton can be goal shy at times. And defensively, against Manchester City, I know we conceded 2, but I thought we defended against one of the best 2 teams in the league relatively well for 90 minutes. You look at the 2 goals, an own goal and a massively deflected goal. So I think we've done really well against them. So I think we can maybe try and keep Brighton out, but I do think they'll get 1, but 1 at the most. So the question is, can West Ham go and get 2? I'll tell you what, we've got possibly the most informed player at the minute in Jared Bowen. He's one of the most informed players. And he will go straight up against Cucurella, a really good defender. But I'm hoping he's got enough about him. Antonio can struggle against a back three at times because they tend to stick 2 defenders on him. But I just hope that we get someone really close to Antonio to help him out for this game. You know, if Antonio's in beast mode, then Lewis Dunk's in trouble. As simple as that, really, because you'd back Antonio any day. And like you said, the boys played really good against Man City. There's enough players coming into this game in form. I think there's 1 or 2 below par a little bit in Fornals and Lanzini. But if just one of those, if the rest of them, and just one of those 2 can turn up on Sunday, we should have enough to win and take advantage. And I just hope that, to be honest, I hope Crystal Palace score early because that news will come through. The bench will hear about it. The fans will start cheering. And I just hope that gives the boys a bit of a lift as well. To think, hang about, this is here for the taking. I think if Man U go 2-3-0 up early doors, I think that will negatively impact us a little bit. But while 6 are there to play for during the course of the game, and I know people say, well, just don't tell the players. You can hear it. You'll be able to hear it in the crowd and whatnot, and everybody can tell these days. But I think, fancy us. I'm going to say Brighton 1, West Ham 2. So there you have it.
And the other one?
I'm going to say Crystal Palace 2, Man United 1. I think West Ham are going to finish 6. You think West Ham are going to finish 6. So this is interesting. For those that don't know, if West Ham win, when we have to win, and Crystal Palace gets something, it can a win or a draw against Man United, West Ham will then finish 6. But should we fail to win, or Man United, West Ham will finish 7 in the Premier League this season. But there you have it. Our final preview. I was going to say match day preview 38 of the season. No, we've done a lot more. We've had a lot of games this season. But there you go. 38 of the Premier League. Anyway, final preview of the season. If you enjoyed it, please do drop a like and subscribe if you're new to the channel. Kickoff's 4 o'clock on Sunday, so we'll be live at 2:55. So you're going to Brighton. Enjoy it. If you're not going, come back at 2:55 and join us for the build-up show. Catch you in a bit.